Guys, this video has no sound, but look how weird it is. 3 birds just circling around the tomb. Like, why would they be doing that? It gotta be something. Has to be some kind of energy. I must be hungry because I just pictured lasagna and pasta.
Y'all want to talk about truth hidden in plain sight? Have you guys seen this Duracell commercial with Tom Brady? They literally exposed that he is a clone. Y'all check this out.
Step aside. Who put these in, Tom? Welcome back. Power boost. Power boost!
Y'all see that? He went to the forearm where he keeps his playbook and opened up the battery pack. Look at this, y'all. What is this all about? Sometimes I gotta slow it down, but look at this. They got retired crossed off. TBPS. Y'all see this? Blueberry smoothie, extra avocado lemon. What is this about? So is this literally his life? Are they literally telling him what to do, you guys? Y'all see that? Lock in, workout, hydration, lemon. Y'all see this stuff? What is going on here? They be showing y'all the truth in plain sight. I be telling you, even the Duracell guy's a robot himself. Just look at the way that he did it. Look. What? Only a robot? Look at this. Do y'all remember when the real Kevin Hart said this? Check this out.
All-Star Weekend in Toronto, Steph Curry, he says, Kevin, come here. He lifts up his arm. The man had mechanical shit in his arm. Wires and shit. He's a robot. He's not.
Does that look like a face of a joking man? And then, like I said, right after, he miraculously had this car accident. I don't know about you, but it's kind of hard to survive that. And it was on fire as well. But yes, y'all, this is crazy. I told y'all, 2025, so much is going to come to the servers. Y'all going to find out more. Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all.
Whoa, is he reaching, or do you guys think this is a very much realistic thing? Let me know in the comments.
Peace out.
What?
You're under arrest. You're under arrest. You have the right to appeal in court. Let's go. Let's go.
Attempted to stab the priest in front of all those people. I mean, like, I'm not a criminal, but you could have probably found a better time to do it. I don't know.
I don't know what they're on, but these jokers done took the train. They done took the engine to the train and driving it down the freeway. They trying to pawn it. What they doing? This must be the Matrix or something.
Somebody got their taxes back.
Did you know that as of today, multiple cities and towns across the United States are actively pursuing to start smart city initiatives? Let me know if your town or city comes up on this list. Number 1, Columbus, Ohio. The city received $40 million from the United States Department of Transportation and another $10 million from Vulcan Incorporated. New York City, New York. San Leandro, California, Santa Cruz, California, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That list was quite long.
Welcome to the City of the Dead, the largest cemetery in the entire world.
Do you know how many tombs or people are buried here? Just this layer?
100,000.
Way more. It's 8 million, at least. As far as you can see, this direction. It's still expanding.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity.
That brings us to lot number 19. the
Pay attention to this one. This one is so crazy. Look, it makes sense.
auction, the fabulous Mark Rothko from 1954. 50% of the works from this incredible year for the artist are housed in permanent museum collections. This is an incredibly rare opportunity to buy one of the greatest works by the artist, and certainly the greatest work by the artist to come for sale in Asia. At $190 million.
They're laundering money. I don't care what nobody says. They're laundering money. That's the only explanation to this.
Questions you're not allowed to ask. Why did the owner of the World Trade Center get maximum insurance against terrorist attacks 6 weeks prior to 9/11? Why did the owner have breakfast in the towers every morning except for September 11th? Why was there an unidentified group of short cells purchased against airline companies right before the attacks? Why was every passenger incinerated in the explosion, but the terrorist passport somehow survived? Why was CNN already there before the attacks with a camera crew ready to film? Why was a report published a year before 9/11 by politicians in George W. Bush's administration saying they needed to aggressively expand military power worldwide, but they need a, quote, catalyzing Pearl Harbor level event in order to gain public support?
Well, it's not funny, but boom. Okay.
Say this. Can you repeat yourself if you don't mind?
I'm an ex-military operator. You need to get walkie-talkies, food, and water. The cell towers will go down. The stores will close. And if you don't get it, I don't feel sorry for you. Stop.
Imagine how crazy it was during the pandemic. I mean, this is going to be 100 times.
Okay, this is unacceptable. Hold on a second. Tell me what you just told me.
Our school spent $80,000 on yonder pouches, and literally last year...
What's a yonder pouch?
A yonder pouch, it traps your phone in it so you can't take it out. It's like a magnet.
Okay, so they spent $80,000 on those, and then tell me what you just told me about the cafeteria.
So basically, I don't even know how they could afford that, because last year we ran out of food. Like, literally for a week straight, we had baked potatoes at the end of the school year with cheese, and that was it. That was their lunch. And now this year, the only thing that they've been giving us is mozzarella sticks, and that's it. Like, you can't get anything else. Like, we're running out of food.
Is there snacks, or?
No.
No snacks at all?
No. That's it. Like apples, that's it.
Taking the kids' phones is pretty much a control thing to make sure that they can keep everybody under the same rule and make sure they're not acting out, make sure they're paying attention, you know, whatever. But they're spending $80,000 on that device versus $80,000 on their food. So you see where we're at.
Why is nobody talking about the fact that they literally confiscated a human egg farm yesterday? With all of the Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff being talked about, no one is talking about the fact that they literally rescued 100 women that were forced to donate eggs. This happened in, I want to say, Georgia. It was a program that was happening that they listed on Facebook Marketplace advertising surrogate services. So basically you become a surrogate and you get paid a pretty decent amount of money for it, right? Now, these women went to this facility that happened to be an egg farming facility, and they were completely blindsided. They began to, house these women in very unsafe environments and force them to do egg retrieval services for very, very cheap to no price, pay. And they just rescued 100 women from Thailand that were being forced to donate eggs. This is literally The Handmaid's Tale in real life.
I accidentally came across this on the Library of Congress's website, and this makes so much sense to me. I've never seen this. You guys might have already seen this, but this is a square and stationary Earth map done by a professor in the 1800s. It makes total sense of the four angels at the four corners of the Earth. It has our circular, flat, stationary Earth. It has the Polaris, North Pole, and then the projections of the sun and moon. And this can be interpreted as the donut Earth or the torus field. and this would make sense of Drake's bowl, and this would tie into the Bible verses about the potter and the potter's wheel, and this would tie into the signet rings, which if you don't know, they're rings that stamp patterns into clay or wax, and this makes sense of the ice wall, and this makes sense of the pouring out of the bowls at the end. They're probably pouring out giant bowls into our giant bowl. Scientists attribute the equatorial bulge to the rotation of the Earth, but the simple answer for this would just be that the sun is directly over those parts, so it's warmer and it expands, making the sea levels slightly higher.
You know, last night, Elon Musk, he retweeted something that referred to people in this country who rely on federal programs as the parasite class. That should reveal the kind of contempt we're talking about here. The parasite class. I don't think that my parents, because they're on Social Security, are part of the parasite class. I don't think my neighbor who is on Medicaid is part of the parasite class. So when my colleagues sit here and talk about Elon Musk in all of these glowing terms, I want you to think about who's he standing up for and who is he kicking in the teeth. I don't know anyone in my district that I would refer to as part of the parasite class. I urge my colleagues to get right with themselves.
Oblivious to this or hasn't seen this, what Kanye is selling on his website, the only item, I'm about to share a screen recording.
The audio is like super bad.
I try not to say anything too much when Kanye's going on rants because I don't know if this is a byproduct of his mental illness and he's lacking in capacity in those moments. But when someone is selling a garment like that, that had to have been discussed in a meeting, pre-ordered, printed, and photographed to go on a website. So it's a sort of premeditated, long thought out thing rather than an impulsive set of erratic tweets. And that is quite alarming because it has a lot more intention behind it than just impulsivity. But yeah, I haven't seen anyone mentioning about these t-shirts or talking about it or really batting an eyelid at his rants anyway.
Y'all, 19 bodies were just found floating in a boat in the Caribbean. The boat was apparently just seen out drifting near St. Kitts, and so they intercepted it, and when they got on board, they found 19 very badly decomposed bodies. Now, some of the documents on some of the people there were from West Africa, but as far as where they're exactly from or what happened to them, nobody really knows. But they do know that the people on board had been gone for quite some time before the vessel floated into their waters. And by the way, when I say so badly decomposed, from sight, they can't tell if people are male or female. In case some of you guys want to know how far West Africa is from St. Kitts, you're talking about right under 10,000 miles away. The most likely answer is that these people were migrants trying to flee the area that they were from. Imagine putting yourself in a situation where you know that death is very, very high, very, very possible, but your conditions are so bad that you have to leave it. Anyways, I will try to follow up on this story. I don't know if we're going to get any more updates, but in the event that we do and you want to know more, make sure to hit that follow button. And of course, drop your thoughts about this in the comments.
I have been prepping for about 3 years now, and I have acquired quite a few things. I've been getting ready for those natural disasters, economic disasters, political disasters. We stocked up on a lot of the short-term foods that you might use within 2-3 month period. Stocked up on your freezer foods. Things you can store for a couple of years and don't have to worry about it. We've stocked up on home defense, family defense, self-defense. We got a lot of things that a lot of people just don't think about. A lot of times, a lot of people think it's pretty extreme. It certainly don't hurt to be ready for anything. You never know when your local water system's going to get contaminated. Even if you're on well water, something could spill and contaminate the groundwater. And having that long-term food for when you have to hunker down for a long time really helps. We have solar generators, we have backup batteries, we have solar panels, and we have power inverters. Plenty of toilet paper to combat that toilet paper shortage. Packing food away in Mylar is definitely something we did a lot of. Having go bags ready to go just in case you do have to go, it's also a definite thing you should be doing. Alternative ways to filter water is also a good thing. Stacking up on sriracha, most definitely.
He said that some say that this is an extreme thing to do. I don't think this is extreme, but I do know that we could have probably done something like this a few years back. But now the lower class and the middle class is not able to do anything close to that because that looks just so expensive.
People are freaking out now they actually know what this is. Derealization, when life literally feels like this. If you've had it before, you'll know exactly what I mean. Where it feels like you're living in a bubble, no one around you is real, or everything around you is blurred, and it literally feels like you're in a video game and you're not actually alive. It is the worst and most crazy feeling, but what actually is it? Many people have had this feeling for years and not known it was derealization or what was causing it. And many people have lived with it for years not knowing how to actually get rid of it. So it can come from stress, anxiety, trauma, many other things. And the simplest way of explaining it is our fight or flight response, where our ancestors would have to choose between fighting a big animal or running away from it. What our mind does is take you out of the situation and say, whoa, it's too stressful here, let's not worry about anything and just sit here. So it almost gives you this out-of-body experience that doesn't feel real and distorts everything around you, and it's doing this to take your mind off things so that you could, back in the day, die in peace or whatever. Although it's
in a hotel room tour, you know, you've got your standard stuff, nice seats, not too bad, TV seating area, and there's a plane in the middle of the hotel room. Just a fully functioning plane with seats and lights that turn on and a full cockpit that you can just go into and like fiddle with and touch all the yokes. It's just standard, you know, hotel room stuff. It's very interesting.
I must say that's pretty cool, but I'm sure it would be triggering for some people as well.
People are blaming this woman as the reason why the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl. And the woman who made this voodoo doll has a dark history. And it just proves that this Super Bowl was actually cursed. Because a lot of people were wondering why Patrick Mahomes was playing so bad. After seeing this video, it all makes sense. Because she is poking a voodoo doll in the state of New Orleans, where voodoo and witchcraft is part of its DNA. Home to some of the most haunted places in the world. And people are really angry at this lady for even playing with this. Because not only did it affect the Chiefs, because Patrick Mahomes has a family, now Eagles players are even dissing Travis Kelce. Do you think that this woman should have messed with dark magic?
Guys, I don't know. Somebody should have called security because that stuff is so real. What do you guys think about that? I know it's an old video, but still, I had to throw that in here.
You were focused on the Super Bowl. The city of New Orleans kidnapped 100 homeless people. State police forced over 100 unhoused people onto buses and dumped them off in a freezing warehouse. Said unhoused people didn't go, they'd be sent to jail. Their tents were destroyed, all of their belongings taken, and the press was not allowed to go to the warehouse. And guess how much this cruelty cost? $17.5 million. Yes, $17.5 million to relocate 100 people for just 90 days. $17 million is the equivalent of 1 year's rent for 1,177 people. That's 80% of New Orleans' homeless population. Bro, they literally could have housed 80% of the unhoused people for an entire year. Oh yeah, in the warehouse, horrible conditions. No insulation, dirt floors, it had holes in the roof and pools of water on the floor. And the relocation occurred just a couple days before that massive winter storm hit New Orleans with 10 inches of snow. So in order for Americans to get their bread and their circus and watch this stupid ass game of men in tights toss balls around, they had to lock up, kidnap, and put an unhoused population in a concentration camp. Welcome to America, where a fantasy football team matters more than your life.
Many times the sporting events are very much so a distraction, especially the Super Bowl. Do you guys feel the same way, or do you guys just think it's a regular event? Anyways, somebody needs to figure out who's in charge of the budgeting and fire them immediately.
According to AI, I need to build a pyramid to escape the simulation. I can't make this up. It's told me to find glitches, use ancient knowledge, and learn geometry. To interact with the source code like a hacker, pyramids and mandalas in specific proportions may resonate with the underlying code. Strange coincidence, we have a ton of those to study. The biggest mandala in the world, actually, is Borobudur. Its architecture is a harmonic pattern. To figure this out, someone has to know that sound makes shapes. If you run a bowstring across a metal plate with sand, you can see these patterns. There's a math equation that lets you calculate those. If we make a 3D model of that in Blender or Houdini, we can simulate what any frequency looks like. Borobador's architecture mirrors a frequency. This is not uncommon at all in the ancient world. Chichen Itza follows a similar frequency. How would we do that on something like a pyramid, though? Rick Draco can show you. It makes 3D models of vibration. Each layer is a pattern within the frequency. A very complex frequency assembled layer by layer may look something like Prambanan Temple. Hindu and Buddhist culture often use mandalas to represent chants, mantras, or frequencies. The fact that many ancient places share similar patterns to these mandalas may indicate that there is a resonance relationship there. No other place resonates with the source code better than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its geometry encodes the circumference of the Earth, the length of the year, the relationship between the Earth and the Moon, at least 4 universal constants, and the speed of light, and the angle needed to view a rainbow. Corner angle is the same angle a raindrop refracts light. If you use a perfect glass sphere to illustrate this, the Great Pyramid exactly fits the refraction dimensions. If we make the height of the pyramid 1 unit of any dimension, it sets up a harmonious relationship with a perfect sphere, which is wild because harmony, sound, and frequency is the next point AI made, citing 432 and 528 Hz as measurements to look out for. The Great Pyramid is a reflection of Earth at that scale. The last 2 points are meditate to connect to the network. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's probably the Schumann network I talked about in that video. The alignments of these places may be access points to deeper layers. Rituals here may provide access points different from everyday locations. I'm sure we all know that the Great Pyramids are aligned to Orion, but the air shafts are also aligned to very significant celestial influences in the ancient world. So it appears like the temples are using the Earth as some sort of network, probably performing various functions. Using consciousness, we connect to this network, and then we use the ancient guidebook that was left for us to navigate harmoniously into that. At this point, I feel like AI just plagiarized my book.
Now imagine, guys, if we learned all this stuff in school, we would be so powerful and have so much knowledge. I'm pretty sure we could just accomplish anything and the world would not be in the state that it is now. So remember that knowledge is power. Instead of scrolling on TikTok and being on social media all day, make sure that you guys pick up a book. Make sure you do some research and really, really invest in that knowledge and in that power. But other than that, you guys, that was the last video. I'm so happy you made it to this episode, and I will catch you on the next one.